Happy Friday, my ATF gals and gents. Welcome to Red Flag Friday, where the red flags were red, but baby, they were painted beige. Here's one that feels super chaotic, super toxic, super Red Flag Friday energy. So this girl writes in and she says, I need you to tell me if this relationship is actually toxic or if I've just completely lost my ability to think clearly. Haven't we all felt like that? So it says, so I met this guy about a year ago through mutual friends. And at first, he was honestly incredible. Like the kind of guy who made me feel safe immediately. He texted me good morning every day. He'd drive across town just to bring me coffee before work. Constantly telling me how different I was from anyone he'd ever dated. Looking back now, it was probably love bombing. Probably was. But at the time, I was eating it up. She says about 3 months into the things started, about 3 months in, things started getting weird. If I didn't answer fast enough, his mood would completely change. He'd start saying stuff like, I just feel like you don't care about me the way I care about you. And somehow every conversation turned into me apologizing to him. Then he started making little comments about my friends, saying things like, I don't trust that girl. She's a bad influence. Or asking why I needed to go out all the time when I had him. At first, it sounded protective. Now I realize I slowly stopped seeing people because it just wasn't worth the argument. I've been there. The first straw should have been when I found out that he was still talking to his ex-girlfriend. Ooh, not great. Not casually, like full conversations, sending memes, talking about their relationship, even calling her when we fought. Because apparently she'd understand him better. Okay. So obviously confronted him. So I obviously confronted him. And instead of apologizing, this man started crying and telling me he has trauma from being abandoned and that he self-sabotages when he feels scared someone's going to leave him. Okay, understandable. It's good to see where other people are coming from. And then it says, I folded immediately. Now, every time he hurts me, somehow I end up confronting him because I know he's been through a lot. It's fair. And logically, now having trauma logically, I know trauma doesn't have or doesn't excuse for someone's treatment to be badly, but emotionally, I feel guilty even thinking about leaving. Okay. And the worst part is when things are really good, they're really good. Like the highest highs ever, which honestly makes the bad stuff even more confusing. I can totally see how that's confusing. So she says, so my question is, how do you know the difference between someone struggling emotionally and someone who's actually toxic for you? Okay, now let's get into it. So Amanda, if you're listening, I really need you to know that you're not stupid. You're not weak. You're definitely not crazy for struggling to let go of somebody that you care about. Relationships like this mess with your head because there's usually real love in there somewhere, real connection, real moments. That's what makes it hard. So I think that sometimes people on the outside judge way too quickly because they've never experienced what it feels like to be in an emotionally attached or being emotionally attached to somebody who also emotionally hurts you, which can be so confusing. Two things can be true at once, realistically. You can definitely love somebody deeply and still recognize that the relationship is not healthy for you. And that's a really painful thing to sit with. But I also want people to understand this. Healing is not just learning how to leave unhealthy relationships. It's learning why chaos felt familiar to you in the first place. So that's the deeper work. And that ties into what I do with counseling. And it's like once you start understanding your pattern, your attachment, your wounds, your coping mechanisms, you stop blaming yourself so much. You start moving differently, choosing differently, loving differently. And that takes time. It takes a lot of time. So if you're in the middle of something messy right now, give yourself some grace, please. Like, seriously, give yourself some grace. You don't have to have everything figured out overnight. Also, I want to thank Amanda for writing in, and I encourage all of you to write in. That's today's episode on Red Flag Friday. I'm super excited that we were able to sit down and do this. I want to encourage you guys to send your stories in, your questions, your chaos, your relationship disasters, because apparently we've all been ignoring a red flag or 12. We'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you next Friday. I love you guys. Be gentle to yourselves this weekend, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great weekend.